Hi, my name is Lisa Wainscott. I'm a volunteer with Charlie's House, and I'm going to talk to you about the ABCs of safe sleep for your baby. A means the baby sleeps alone, B means the baby sleeps on its back, and C means the baby sleeps in a crib. Now when we talk about the baby sleeping alone, even if you have twins, it's no longer recommended that we put them in the same crib, and the reason is that the baby is safer by themselves. There's no chance of anybody rolling over on the baby and causing a suffocation or a possible sudden infant death syndrome or SIDS. And also the recommendation is not to sleep with parents or kids or to be in the same bed in any way or sleeping on the couch or anywhere else. So room sharing is what is actually recommended, where the baby is in a crib or bassinet or porta-crib in the room with the parents when they're very young, but not actually in the same bed with them. So B is baby sleeps on its back. We always put the baby on its back for every single nap and every single time it goes to sleep for the night. And you need to remind all the caregivers of your baby to do the same thing. And the C is for the crib, and we want the baby in a crib, porta-crib, or bassinet because they have a very firm surface, a firm mattress. There are no pillow top mattresses in baby cribs. The other thing you'll notice about the crib is all of the edges are smooth. There's no pieces or parts sticking up that the baby can get caught on as they get older and try to climb out of the crib. Also, the slats should be less than 2 3/4 inches apart. That means you should not be able to stick a soda can in between there. And all of the new cribs meet those safety standards. The other thing that's brand new with safety standards is that the front part of the crib is no longer able to be a drop-sided crib where you can raise and lower this side. They're all stationary. So when you rattle this crib, everything should be really tight. So if you have an old crib that has a drop side on it, you do want to get that replaced as soon as possible. Those are no longer safe, and several babies have been killed by getting wedged between the mattress and the side of the crib. The other thing that you need to note about the crib is that you should not be able to put more than 2 finger widths between the mattress and the side. Now this one you can see it's very tight. I can really only get one of my fingers between the two, so that there's no chance of the baby getting entrapped in there. One other thing about cribs is you need to use crib sheets made for this mattress. It's very tempting, if you've run through all of your sheets and they're all dirty, to put an adult size or a twin size sheet on the mattress. But as the child gets older and moves around in the bed more, they can easily come apart, and kids have gotten entangled in those and actually suffocated by getting rolled up into the sheets. So make sure everything fits tightly in here so the baby doesn't have any risk of that. The other big thing you'll notice with this crib is there are no bumper pads in there. Bumper pads are no longer recommended because babies have gotten their faces wedged near them and not been able to move, particularly if they're not sleeping on their back. And so all soft things should be out of the crib. No pillows, no blankets, no bumper pads. There are actually some mesh bumper pads that are being made if you really feel the need to use them, but the SIDS organizations are not recommending them. Now the other thing you'll notice is this baby is not wrapped in a blanket. And the recommendation now for safe sleep is to have the baby in a sleeper or some type of sack, like a halo sack, that keeps them warm for whatever the weather is. They come in fleece for winter, light cotton for summertime, but no blankets. And that way there's nothing that can get around the baby's neck or face area so that they're not rebreathing the carbon dioxide that they're exhaling. So this is your bare bones crib, and this is what your safe sleep environment should look like. When you do get your mattress as a new mattress, you want to make sure you take all the plastic pieces off of that as well as the rest of the crib. A lot of people like to keep the plastic on as a waterproofing measure, but you really need to take that off because as the child gets older, they can actually start pulling at that, and that can become a suffocation risk. Some people will advocate that a baby use a pacifier to sleep after they're a month of age. And the reason for that is that some of the research is showing that babies may be in a lighter state of sleep when they're sucking on a pacifier, and that way the thought is that they might be able to arouse themselves a little easier should they get into trouble. And so that's something that we may be hearing more about. Also, there are several different sleep positioners on the market to keep babies on their backs or their sides. We used to think that it was okay to keep babies on their sides, and that is no longer true. Back only. And so those sleep positioners are not recommended either, as several infants have died when they've been using those, and whether it's been a true SIDS or whether it's been from suffocation is difficult to tell. So positioners are not necessary and they are not recommended. All right, now we're going to talk about the changing table. A lot of people like to have new changing tables that have an attachment on the top so that they can use it later as the child grows instead of just a set changing table. So the first thing you need to do is anchor this kind of big furniture to the wall, and we'll have demonstrations showing that elsewhere. And then the changing pad itself needs to be anchored to the countertop. And what we can do is use some of this shelf liner to keep things from sliding. So that helps, but it's also helpful to anchor the entire piece to the furniture. Now, one of the things you'll notice on a lot of the changing tables that are newer is they have safety straps. You want to make sure that you use those, but don't get a false sense of security and walk away from the baby. Even turning around to reach towards something, that baby can roll over for the first time. So make sure that you always have a hand on the baby, even if you're reaching around to get something else. The best thing to do is to keep everything you need in the drawers. And if you can get one drawer with all of your items in it, and including your diaper creams, your anything else. Remember, diaper cream can be toxic if it's ingested. So all of those things should be placed into your drawer and then a latch secured to it. And again, always keep your hand on the baby as you move away. You may also want to have if you have a baby monitor in your room, you may want to keep it about 3 feet away from the crib or from baby's reach so that they can't get tangled up in the cord. All right, one of the other things that you might want to have on several doors in your home are little pinch guards so that the child, if they push the door closed, they can't get their fingers pinched in between there. And they come in cute little patterns and whatnot, but they're very easy to take on and off. As the child gets older and may try to get them off themselves, you can put them on the very top of the door, and still it will keep them from getting their fingers mashed. The other thing you need to look out for is if you happen to have an old toy chest like this one, while it may be a great place to store things, kids can also climb in and out of them. And one of the things that is missing from this toy chest are any holes for air ventilation, as well as many of them have cutouts along the sides so that fingers don't get mashed again. Because even if you were to use one of these things for a child, if they're old enough to raise the lid, they're old enough to move that out of the way.